Kate Chopin, The Awakening, Coterie Classics. Dive into the world of The Awakening by Kate Chopin, where we follow the journey of Edna Pontellier, a middle-aged woman experiencing a deep personal transformation while vacationing with her family on Grand Isle. As Edna begins to question her life's purpose and long-held societal expectations, she explores her independence and identity. This summary will introduce you to the themes of societal norms, self-discovery, and the struggle for freedom, with relatable characters and engrossing storytelling. Find yourself immersed in the vibrant world of 19th-century New Orleans as you navigate the challenges and triumphs of a woman seeking to find herself.
Edna's Awakening. Edna Pontellier, the wife of a wealthy businessman, feels oppressed as her husband disregards her emotional needs and verbally abuses her. During a summer retreat in Grand Isle, Louisiana, she finds solace in fellow vacationer Robert, who chooses to spend time with her instead of her husband. However, Edna's sense of unease persists, and she finds herself unable to sleep at night. The next morning, her husband returns to New Orleans, leaving her with a large box of bonbons, which she shares with the other guests, who praise the generosity of her husband. Despite this, Edna's feeling of oppression grows, and she begins to question whether her husband's fidelity and kindness are enough. The Awakening of Edna. Edna Pontellier, a married woman with children, experiences a gradual awakening to her innermost desires and emotions during a summer vacation at Grand Isle. Unlike other women who revolve their lives around their husbands and children, she is intrigued by the open and sensual culture of the Creoles, which contrasts with her conservative upbringing in Kentucky. With Robert's help, she discovers the seductive voice of the sea, which awakens her consciousness to a new level of awareness and freedom. Edna struggles to balance her role as a mother and wife with her growing desire for self-fulfillment and independence, which leads to confusion and conflict both inwardly and outwardly. Her emotional journey is further complicated by her reliance on the attention and affection of men, which she has always found more alluring than the intimacy of women. Adele, her friend, objects to Robert's flirtation with Edna for fear that it will lead to an affair and ruin his reputation. Robert, on the other hand, is drawn to Edna's spirit and beauty and longs to be with her openly. The novel portrays Edna's awakening as a metaphorical drowning, as she is torn between living up to society's expectations and embracing her true self. The Awakening of Edna. Edna's inner awakening is initiated by emotions so powerful and deep that they reduce her to tears. She dared to swim in the deep waters, realizing that she had spent too long confined to the shallows. Robert tries to understand her mood, but Edna dismisses it as banter. Edna goes back home, and a silence pregnant with unspoken feelings and desires fills the air. Edna's summer marks the beginning of her awakening, which is triggered by a series of events. She attends a party hosted by Madame Lebrun and is invited to hear Mademoiselle Rice play. While listening to the music, Edna feels powerful emotions that melt away the fictitious self that she presents to the world. Robert offers to take everyone for a late-night swim, and Edna accepts his invitation. She swims boldly, shouting with joy, realizing that she has been hiding in the shallows like a child. Edna feels daring and ventures deeper, fearing that she may not make it back to the shore. Robert catches up with Edna and tries to tell her that he understands her mood. However, Edna misses his intent, dismissing it as mere banter. Back at her cottage, a pregnant silence fills the air, and Robert sits with her until her husband returns. Leonce encourages Edna to come to bed, but she refuses, setting a precedent for future confrontations that will test the limits of her desires. Edna's awakening is not a sudden event but a gradual progression towards the realization that she is more than just a dutiful wife and a mother. She is a woman with desires and passions that are prompted to the surface by the series of events that lead her to question the role society has imposed on her. Will she dare to continue her journey of self-discovery, or will she shrink back into her shell of conformity? The answers lie ahead. Edna's summer romance comes to a close. Edna and Robert enjoy a romantic Sunday together on the island of Cheniere Caminada. However, Things take an unexpected turn when Robert announces plans to leave for Mexico. Edna realizes that she is infatuated with him but also recognizes the importance of staying true to her essential self. Edna's struggle for independence. The Pontelliers, an affluent family living in New Orleans, are content with their lives until Edna decides to abandon the traditional role of a wife and mother. She stops receiving visitors on Tuesdays and neglects other household duties. Her husband scolds her and worries about how it will affect his business. Edna confides in Adele, a friend who supports her plan to take art lessons. Edna's desire for freedom leads her to paint and sing, but also to feel lost and uncertain at times. She struggles with the societal expectations placed on her as a woman in the 19th century and yearns for more than the domestic life she has been living. The book explores the themes of gender roles, societal norms, and the struggle for self-fulfillment. As the quote at the end suggests, it is a sad reality for those who try to break free from tradition and prejudice without strong wings. Edna's escalating despair. Edna, in a state of depression, visits Mademoiselle Rice to hear her play and begs to see the letter from Robert. Mademoiselle Rice talks about the qualities required to be an artist. Edna's behavior raises suspicion, and she faces conflict with her father and husband. Dr. Mandelet suggests giving her space, leaving Edna alone to find peace. Alone in the house, she experiences tranquility. Edna's unconventional desire. Edna, who is married to Mr. Pontellier, goes to the racetrack with Alcée, and they soon develop a physical attraction to each other. After receiving a letter of apology from Alcée, Edna admits to Mademoiselle Rice that she loves Robert, who will soon be returning to New Orleans. When Alcée kisses Edna after talking about their shared desire, she responds enthusiastically but then cries, realizing her actions weren't motivated by love. Edna plans to rent a smaller place nearby to gain more freedom, but she keeps feeling conflicted about her unconventional desire. Edna's forbidden desires. Edna, a restless wife, moves into the pigeon house around the corner, where she succumbs to her desires with Alcée. Despite feeling hopeless during a farewell dinner with her husband, Edna looks like a queen. Léonce disapproves of her move, but Edna enjoys herself visiting her children in Iberville. To counter rumors of his business doing poorly, Léonce announces his plans to go abroad with his wife. The tragic love story of Edna and Robert. Edna visits Mademoiselle Rice and meets Robert at her door. During dinner, they act formal with each other, and Edna becomes jealous upon seeing Robert's tobacco pouch gifted by a Mexican girl. Robert doesn't return for days until Edna meets him accidentally at a cafe where they argue over his absence. Later, she kisses him, and he confesses his dream of marrying her. However, Edna tells him that she doesn't belong to anyone anymore. Upon returning home, Edna finds a note from Robert reading, "Goodbye, because I love you," making her stay awake all night. In the classic novel, The Awakening, Edna and Robert's love story unfold in a tragic plot. One afternoon, Edna decides to visit Mademoiselle Rice to meet the pianist. However, she isn't at home, and Robert comes to the door to take her back home. During dinner, Edna and Robert behave formally with each other, indicating the tension between them. Edna becomes jealous upon hearing about Robert's tobacco pouch gifted by a Mexican girl. Despite feeling distant from Robert, Edna remains hopeful that he will come to see her again. However, he doesn't show up, neglecting her feelings. One evening, Alcée takes her out to the lake, and upon returning, they sleep together again. Although, that night, Edna falls asleep free of sorrow, she wakes up depressed. One day, Edna accidentally meets Robert at a garden cafe where they argue about his lack of attention and selfish behavior. Robert finally reveals that the reason he didn't come to see her was his love for her. However, Edna makes it clear that she doesn't belong to anyone anymore. Later, she finds a note from Robert reading, "Goodbye, because I love you," leaving her devastated. Through Edna and Robert's love story, the author portrays the unfulfilled emotional needs, the social norms of that time, and the tragedy of romanticizing the forbidden. The novel reflects the protagonist's confusion, desperation, and longing for freedom and independence from social and cultural norms. Edna's surrender. While reflecting on her love for Robert and the enslavement brought upon her by her children, Edna makes a sudden decision to swim into the ocean until her strength is spent. Memories of her childhood fill her mind as she surrenders herself to the sea.
The Awakening addresses the complexities of societal expectations and the struggle to find one's identity in the face of repression. Edna's journey is a testament to the idea of self-exploration and transformation. Though ending with Edna's tragic surrender to the sea, the book challenges readers to confront their own self-imposed limitations and explore the possibilities of self-discovery in their lives. Kate Chopin's poignant characters and captivating narration convey the intricacies of human emotions, weaving together a tale that is both inspiring and eye-opening. As you finish the summary, remember the message of courage, defiance, and resilience that courses through the pages of this incredible book.